Happymodel Crux 35, one of the most beloved FPV drones there is out there for budget-friendly consumers. It's cheap, it's lightweight, and it's reliable. And today, I'm going to see if I ruin it or not, because apparently for just $35, you can turn this analog FPV drone into a digital FPV drone. That's right, $35. The whole thing costs around about $120, so whilst it's cheap for digital, it's quite a chunk of the purchase price for something you might end up ruining. The question I'm going to answer today then is, have we just created an absolute monster or ruined a legend? We're out here with the Happymodel Crux. It is a little bit windy, and we've got the P1 BetaFPV digital system on board. BoyWonderFPV is going to fly right behind me, in between me and the tree, and we're going to see how many angry Karens the Crux 35 with the digital system. So the question is then, how many angry Karens will the Crux 35 with its new digital system invoke? And I think that's an absolute most of around about 2.5 to 3 angry Karens out of 10. What do you think in the comments? Let me know.
Land?
It's really quiet. Yep, come back and land, Boy Wonder.
Bet you all there BoyWonderFPV crashed the Crux 35 into the tree 4 times because it's too fragile. Do you know who I am, kid?
Now, the Crux 35 has a reputation for not being particularly solid. So we're going to test that reputation today, and BoyWonderFPV is going to crash it into the tree.
I missed.
Ouch. So BoyWonderFPV is now flying the Happymodel Crux with the BetaFPV P1 digital system, the $35 upgrade to this legend of an FPV drone. But the question is, will he find it better than analog, or will he hate it because of the latency and the extra weight? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go and speak to him. BoyWonderFPV, welcome to the channel.
Well, welcome, hello.
Welcome, yes, I definitely am. Good chat. Anyway, moving on. So, you're flying the Crux 35. Now, it used to be analog, so it used to have super low latency. How would you feel about the latency of the P1 system from BetaFPV?
Feels absolutely fine. I don't really see that much latency actually.
Is the P1 system BoyWonderFPV approved?
Yup. BoyWonder P.
Like, do you not even know who you are? Like, do you know who you are, kid?
Nope.
Well, enjoy the rest of the rip, and I'll catch you all on the next segment, guys. So, as he starts to finish the end of his flight, he's not crashed once, and he's not complained once. I don't know about you, but that, to me, shut up, Boy Wonder, I'm talking. Stop it. I've got a really nice monologue to say. You've just ruined everything. Goodbye. Crash test number 2. Bye-bye. So will the Crux 35 survive crash test number 2 into the tree? I think he probably did. When we started this project, I genuinely thought there was a good chance that we could ruin it. The Happymodel Crux 35 isn't just another drone. It's one of those rare machines that earns legendary status. It's cheap, it's simple, it's reliable, and for years it's been the answer to a common FPV question: what should I buy next? The problem is that technology doesn't stand still, and while the Crux 35 has remained largely unchanged, the world around it has moved on. Digital has arrived, and for many people, once you've flown with crisp HD images, going back to analog can feel a little bit like replacing your 4K television with an old VHS player. That's not to say analog is bad, far from it. It's cheap, it's affordable, it's lightweight, it's reliable, and it's low latency. But for newcomers entering the hobby today, that fuzzy image can be enough to stop them from taking the plunge altogether. So naturally, the obvious answer is going to be DJI, except right now, it's not quite as forward as it should be. The 04 Pro should be the gold standard, the flagship, the system everyone else is trying to catch. And yet, month after month, more and more pilots are discovering gyro issues that make stabilizing footage impossible. People are spending hundreds of pounds and dollars on a system they expect to work, only to find themselves searching forums, Facebook groups, Discord servers, and YouTube videos to find out there's nothing they can do. Perhaps the most frustrating part of all that is we're still waiting for an official acknowledgement from DJI. So where does that leave us? Well, HD0 is fantastic, the latency is incredible, the image is a lot cleaner than analog, and the technology is impressive. But it's not cheap. By the time you bought everything you need, it can actually cost more than some people's entire drone collections. Not many people, but some. Walksnail sits somewhere in the middle. Okay image quality, okay ecosystem, it's capable, but it's still not what you call cheap. And that's where this thing comes in, the BetaFPV P1, a digital video system that costs less than some sets of propellers and batteries. A system so inexpensive that honestly, it almost sounded like a joke when I was told. Which brings us back to the question that we started with. Did we ruin the Crux 35? Did we take one of FPV's great success stories and bolt on a compromise, a gimmick, a solution to a problem that nobody actually had? Well, after flying it and putting some packs through it and spending plenty of time behind the goggles, I think the answer is no, because the Crux 35 has always been brilliant for a simple reason. It gave ordinary people access to something extraordinary. And that is exactly what this upgrade does. It doesn't try to be the fastest, the most prettiest, or the most expensive. It doesn't try to impress people with specifications. Instead, it takes a drone that thousands of pilots have already got and love and gives them a clearer window on the world. The soul of the drone is still there, the character is still there, the fun is still there. Only now, you can see where you're going. So no, we didn't ruin a classic. We reminded ourselves why it became a legend in the first place.
I'll make that prop's bed like crazy.
Yeah, hi, is that Red Bull? Listen, I've got an amazing idea.
Whoa.
What do you mean, stop calling? Anyway, BoyWonderFPV is about to crash the Crux 35 into the tree. People say that you can't crash this drone because it's really fragile. BoyWonderFPV, just get it crashed. Anyway, if you're a real one, leave a comment in the comments box down below. Squatting quads for Red Bull. Right, BoyWonder, for the third time, crash the Crux into the tree. Oh, there's no way it survived that. But actually, as you can see, there is no damage to it. BoyWonderFPV hit the tree for the fourth time. Now I need to come back round behind the camera and move the camera to the tree before he hits it. It's going to be brutal. Oh, there ain't no way that survived. So as you can see, please do excuse the wind, but as you can see, apart from a bent prop, there isn't actually any damage, and those last two crashes were incredibly brutal. So I would say this is probably a pass for the durability of the Crux 35 with the P1 from BetaFPV. This is the Happymodel Crux 35. It survived the angry Karen noise scale. It survived BoyWonderFPV, smashing it into that tree behind us. The question is it actually any good? Is it powerful? This is a GoPro Mission 1 on a tripod. I'm going to fly the Happymodel in proximity to the GoPro without touching it, and I'm going to try and knock it over. If I knock it over, the Happymodel is successful and I don't have to do a fourth. Otherwise, in the next video, I'm going to have to fly the Radiomaster Pocket once more. And I'm not keen on doing that. So let's try and knock this GoPro over. How close was I to it?
Pretty close.
Was I?
Do anything.
Did it not even rock?
Nope, didn't even move it. And it's windy as well, so it can knock over every tackle. I mean, you can knock the grass over and knock the GoPro.
Try again,
You
try
nearly
again.
hit it, though.
Anything?
Shuffle throttle a bit early there. Nope, you're way too high. Let's go for freestyle on this thing 500 times.
Never it's on.
It's on. I was about to say it. That's it. You hit it and it still didn't fall over.
Okay, so if I hit the GoPro and it didn't fall over, that's our answer. It's not powerful enough. Okay, Karen, well, I am going to meet your challenge. I will not do a forfeit again. Right. Boys and girls, don't listen to this. BoyWonder, quick, run up and push it over. And then run back quick. Ready? Yes, we've done it. Yes, Karen, we don't have to do your forfeit ever again. Hurrah! The sing mode is the winner. Not Angry Karen. I mean the Crux. Sorry, I'm flying the Crux. The Crux is the winner, the Crux. Goodbye, Angry Karen. I'm coming home. So then, that was the adventure of the Crux 35 with the BetaFPV P1 digital. And this was a fun little experiment with BoyWonderFPV and I. We challenged ourselves, can we make a legendary drone better by putting a $35 digital VTX on it? And the truth and the answer is, absolutely you can, if BoyWonder learns how to throw properly. It's so much better, in my opinion. We don't feel the latency. Yes, you can feel it when you move to analog and stuff, but when you fly this, it's great. It really is great. Now, there is vibrations in our footage, but we have smashed it into a tree repeatedly for the past 2 days, so that's probably why. But I'd recommend you get a P1 system because I think they're brilliant, if I'm honest. And you can now get VRXs and you don't have to use specific goggles, and all of the ArtaLink system, whatever system is now compatible with each other. It really is a good investment if you want to move up a little bit from analog, and I don't think it's that bad. But stick around for on the channel, because what we will have in the coming few weeks is a face-off between them all, where we're going to fly them all back to back. We'll give you our honest thoughts. Now, I'm off to record the footage to show you how to do this, how to upgrade it, how to set it up, and that'll be the Owners Club video. This has been the adventure video. One more day. YouTube and I have had a chat, and we believe that this is the video that you'll like the most.